Hey guys, MBSC1 again, and so I have a deck list for straight consistency Yveltal garbodor deck. So normally I tech like Enhanced Hammer or Silver Mirror or maybe even Absol to help out with plasma matchups or just things of that nature. But this list is if there's no plasma and you feel that it's just best to have a consistent list for Yveltal garbodor, this is the list that I would run. So let's get straight into it. We'll start with Pokemon. First, we've got three Yveltal. If you saw my last video about Yveltal Garbodor, I had two. I've tested with this deck extensively. Like, I've tested with this deck a ton, and it is definitely necessary to have three Yveltal. Two is not enough, and you will lose to Blastoise sometimes because of that. But three is definitely where you need to be. Then there's two Darkrai. Normally I run one, but a second one is nice and can help against straight Yveltal. It can also help against Plasma, so that you don't have to have a Pokemon that's weak to Electric. So two Darkrai is nice, but if you need to tech something, I would take one out because you can't really take advantage of Dark Cloak that much anyway, and Yveltal is usually a better attacker. But Darkrai does come in handy sometimes, so it's nice to have two. Then we have three Sableye. Finally got all reverse Sableye. And I think this is just the best non-EX Dark to use, Dark type attacker to use. You could use Absol, you could use Bouffalant, you could use non-EX Yveltal. You could use a lot of things, but I just think that having the three Sableye is the best way to go. I don't like Bouffalant because I only run two double colorless energy, and it's kind of hard to get one double colorless on the Bouffalant and actually use Gold Breaker. I also don't like Absol just because, I mean, Absol, if I had to add one, is probably the thing I would add. But the thing is, I really don't want to go down to two Sableye just because Sableye is really the non-EX Pokemon I want. Because it can junk hunt for the random receiver and the sorry about that, the random receiver and like just anything you need. It can get you out of supporter drains. It can get you the resources back you need, and ultimately it's really the one I want. But if I had to add a non-EX that's not Sableye, I would definitely go with Absol. Yveltal non-EX is okay, but I think Sableye is better. That's just my opinion, and from my testing, it's been better. But that was just my experience. You guys might have had a different one. And then just 2-2 Garbodor. Yeah, nothing to it. Everyone runs 2-2 Garbodor on their Yveltal Garbodor lists. And then for the energy, we've got two double colorless. And then 9 dark. So in my regular list that has text in it, I run 8 dark. But I noticed that occasionally I do whiff on the dark energy when I Juniper or something like that, and the ninth one is really that added consistency that I like having. I would definitely suggest 9 also if you're running straight Yveltal. If you're running straight Yveltal, I think you should run 3 DC and 9 dark, or 4 DC if you run a heavy Bouffalant line. But anyway, I just have the 9 because it's more consistent than 8, and it helps a lot to have that little added consistency. 2 Verbank City Gym. I mean, I could run 3, but 2's fine. 1 switch. I just have 1 switch because really I don't find myself needing more than that. Sometimes I think about doing 2, but the only time you really need it is when you're going against Yveltal because that's the only deck that runs lasers. So it does kind of hurt the mirror match a little bit to only have 1, but it usually is fine and it works out anyway. And I just make sure that I junk hunt for the switch every time I use it, if I have Sableye, so that I make sure that I have it in the deck. There's also Dowsing Machine to get back the switch if you need to. So yeah, that's my A-spec of choice. That's pretty much what everyone's running in Yveltal. It's just good. It gets back items. It's super helpful. Adds consistency. And then for the tools, we got 3 Floatstone and 3 Muscle Band. Excuse me. 3 Floatstone is just for Garbodor. It's nice to have something to send up with no retreat so that you can just have it up there and then Dark Patch to something or something like that. Or if you decide to attack with something and you weren't sure which one you were going to attack with, it's nice to have something in the active with 3 retreat so that you can just retreat to it. This also helps give more retreat things, or more ways to retreat with a deck because you only have 1 switch and Garbodor shuts off Dark Cloak. So Floatstone's good for that. And then 3 Muscle Band just to add more damage. Muscle Band's awesome. I've even thought about running 4, but 3 seems to be enough. This is the only not hollow card I have in my deck, actually. This one, Muscle Band. And then, as for lasers, we've got 4 of those. In my not straight list, I have 3 lasers, but 4 is really nice. There was a couple points, there's been a couple times when I wanted the 4 one, the 4th laser, and it's just nice to have it really consistently. But 4 is not completely necessary, it's just, you gotta have that consistency. 4 Dark Patch, you run 4 Dark Patch in pretty much every Dark deck, except maybe Hydreigon. Yeah, it's standard, every Dark deck runs 4. 3 Catcher, a lot of people run 2. I've seen some people do 4, I've seen some people do 1. 3 seems to be the perfect number for me. It's consistent enough so that I can junk hunt for it, and it's enough to make it so I can flip heads when I need to, and just 3 seems to be perfect for me. I do see some people like 2, but I wanted the extra consistency with drawing it. 3 Ultra Ball, you really don't need more than that. You can go up if you want, but 3 seems to be enough, and I like it a lot. And then there's the draw support. I pretty much do this for every deck, so this is not every deck, what am I saying? For every dark base deck, I guess. So you guys have probably seen this multiple times. It's just 4 N, 4 Juniper, 3 Random Receiver, and 2 Bicycle. This is the list, or this is the draw support list that Jason Klisinski used to win Worlds. I like it a lot. I think it's perfect. I have seen some people do like Skylas instead of these and Chorus instead of those. And I actually saw Kyle Sugovich Puka doing that in his Yveltal list, and I asked him why, and he just said because it's not the same as the Darkrai deck that Jason Klisinski used. It's more of a big basics deck, and you play it more like a big basics deck. And I think he's right, but at the same time, I really like the way this works. I need this one to be Dark Explorers when it's black and white, but it doesn't matter that much. Anyway, I think this is really consistent. It works really well. The only real problem it has is if you have a Juniper and like 2 other Junipers in your hand, or 2 Junipers in your hand and like items you need, you can't really you burn more supporters more quickly, and it hurts you. So that kind of sucks, but the thing is it's more consistent because you have these 5 items, so you can junk hunt for them and then make sure you get out of that supporter drain quickly. So I think this draw support line is really nice. I like it a lot, and I've been running it for like 9 months now or something like that. The only change I used to have was I used to run 1 Bianca, and then for a little bit I ran 1 Shauna when that came out. But I think this works really well. You can also do 1 Chorus on top of these. My buddy does that, and it works really well for him. I just don't like it because it's a little bit inconsistent. If you draw it on the first turn or the second turn or something like that, it's not going to be getting you much cards. It could only get you 1 to 2 sometimes even. But if it's as a bonus on top of these, just to add consistency, it's never going to hurt your consistency because it's just 1 more draw support card. So, I mean, I guess it might because you have random receiver, so you might random receiver into it sometimes. But as a whole, I think 1 Chorus is a good idea, and I just choose not to run it. But if you guys want to, I think it's a good idea. So that's the whole list. I just tried to make it as straightforward and really, oops, laptop's breaking, and kind of aggressive as I could make it. That list seems to work really well for me. I think it's really good, and you guys might want to try it out. So yeah, but I wouldn't recommend using this list unless your metagame has like no plasma in it, because this deck loses to plasma a lot, and plasma is only getting better. So yeah, thanks for watching. Like if you like the video, subscribe for more, and comment if you want to tell me something.